Is the action of being able to absorb or control the force of an object, most commonly using your hands. Catching is a fundamental skill, which means it's a basic movement and is commonly learned in childhood to help provide a foundation for sport-specific skills. Without developing the catching skill, there are specific sports that the child would not be able to take part in. For example, sports such as netball, basketball, and football that all require players to catch the ball. Why is catching an important fundamental movement skill? If a child is falling behind or struggling with the skill, they may be discouraged to continue to learn to catch, and this can also lead to a decrease in physical activity. Catching in particular is most commonly introduced in prep at age 5 and 6 and then is mastered in grade 2 at age 7 or 8. When teaching a child how to do the catch, try and explain the skill in a way the child will understand. Use basic terminology for auditory learners, a physical demonstration for visual learners, and get the students to do it themselves to help kinesthetic learners understand the skill better. The use of keywords and analogies such as butterfly fingers is also helpful for learning. So these are the 7 steps to catching. So the first step is bend your elbows and keep your hands in front of your body. Step 2 is keep your feet apart and one foot in front of the other for good balance. Step 3 is to keep your eyes on the ball at all times. Step 4 is to use soft fingers and big hands, also known as butterfly fingers. Step 5 is to move your hands to meet the ball. Step 6 is to catch a ball with your hands only and not your chest. Step 7 is to keep your elbows bent to absorb the impact. This is the 7 steps in action. Here are some common errors made when catching. Do not look away from the ball. Do not run away from the ball. Do not have straight arms or legs. Do not catch with your chest. And do not lean away from the ball. Here's some advice for when teaching the skill. When a student makes one of these errors, the teacher should provide positive feedback and also demonstrate how the skill could be improved using the 7 steps. The student can start by throwing and catching against the wall. In the beginning, the teacher should stand close to the student to observe their catching skills, giving them feedback when needed, standing off to the side and behind them. As the student gets better, the teacher can leave more space. Here's an idea of some feedback that could be used. Good job, student, you're doing really well. Next time, keep your eyes on the ball and keep your elbows bent. This might make it a bit easier. Keep up the great work. Here are some modifications. So for example, when learning to catch using a larger ball, it's going to be easier than catching a smaller ball because of the surface area. When the student becomes more skilled at catching, the size of the ball can be changed to increase difficulty. For example, the use of a small rhino ball or a tennis ball. When starting to catch, the use of softer balls or even beanbags are common, as they are less likely to hurt the students if it hits them, which helps the student to be more confident when learning and they're less afraid of being hurt. Another modification can be the incorporation of clapping between the throw and catch to make it a little more difficult, as well as the incorporation of a one-handed catch. This can start with a large ball as an easier option and smaller ball to make it even more of a challenge. Here are some of the examples of the modifications mentioned before. These more difficult modifications should be used in the later years of primary school once the student has fully developed the skill of catching around grade 2.